let's get into the nurse Judy and her husband of it all. All right. Now, the two of them have been married for 12 years, going on many more, correct? Why do you look like
Yeah.
you doubt me?
No, like they've been together for how
They've
long?
been together for 12 years. They've been in marriage for 12 years. And the good thing about them is that they seem to be working it out now. There was a lot of drama in between there with sijui husbands to sijui kina Murugi Muni, sijui there's a lot. There was a lot that was going on there. Now Judy has been a very vocally present person, like on social media, Times for Branch. Who was the name of that kid? But the child from Machachari who borrowed money. Like, she's been on the internet like over a lot of different things for a lot of different reasons. But the biggest one that caused us to get to this point of them for some reason trying to make sure that we understand that their marriage is on par or they're on a level again is the drama that happened with do you even say allegedly, the husband to Joan Murugimuni, and that alleged relationship or, interaction that they had of a sexual nature. I don't know whether it was verified, not verified. That's why I'm saying allegedly, okay? And this led up to her and her husband parting ways. Like, they got mad at each other. They were talking smack about each other on the internet. Like, it became like an uproar between the two of them. They're just fighting between the two of them. The other people, them, they've moved on. Them, they're happy. Their lives are, back to
Life is
being
good.
moving on. They're traveling to Johannesburg, Cape Town, South Africa, and you go kutum fight. You had to sleep with someone's husband. Ah, what a shame. What a shame. Anyway, seems like the two of them have been trying to reconcile, and they've started telling us bits and parts of the reason why all of this had to transpire. For you to cheat on someone, there's usually a lot of stuff that is causing you to probably go that way. Not to justify it, but reality is there's problems at home, and that's why you're seeking adventure outward or in someone else. And so, according to them, a husband called Dennis Pasha, they were speaking about the fact that in their 12 years of marriage, they've had multiple challenges, but the biggest one that led to like an absolute upheaval was their finances. The two of them were living individually, but then, living according to their means. Dennis Pasha was living in an 18,000 house, thousand Kenya shillings rent house, was paying small amounts of money for electricity bills and water bills and so on and so forth. And suddenly now he's in a relationship, he has a family, he moves to a bigger house that costs about 45,000 Kenya shillings. The electricity bills have now started increasing to about, water and electricity, utilities basically increasing to about 6,000 Kenya shillings, which is quite a bit according to him. Ultimately maintaining the house, being seen in beautiful places, living their very much aesthetically pleasing lifestyle became a very huge financial undertaking. And then continue to say, well, looking back, I never used to listen to him. Now, this is Judy, because these were the problems that led to them now having issues. He would explain that, hey, we don't need to be living in such an expensive place. We need to pole gradually move from 18 to 20, from 20 to 22, 22 to 25, like that, until we are able to manage this 45K without a sweat, without breaking a sweat. And apparently, according to her, she's like, no, you need to be taking care of me. You're my husband. You're supposed to be taking care of all of these things, yada, yada, yada. And according to her, she says, as I said, and I quote, where, looking back, I never used to listen to him or understand, or rather, process where he was coming from or what he was trying to communicate. I mostly listened to respond or to react, to get mad, to jump into self-defense when he raised concerns and act weirdly, etc. I lacked accountability and responsibility, which is very, very big because oftentimes when you're talking to someone, especially when we're in the middle of the fight, your first thing is like, "Abesema nini? Apana." It's like an act, just a guttural reaction to defend yourself, to prove them wrong and to stand above it all saying, no, I am right, you are wrong, listen to me. So that accountability of, okay, yeah, I'm actually still, it's not like when he buys the food I eat, he eats it alone. No, it's not like this house he's living in, he's living in alone. We're both living in this house. Accountability and responsibility is a huge, huge, huge thing. Anyway, she continued to say, or he actually said, that they argued quite a bit. They disrespected each other so much so that they would actually fight in front of their balcony. Like the two of them would be at the balcony, abusing each other, disrespecting each other, talking down to each other. Neighbors are watching. Now they've chomad around neighbors. It's looking really, really hella sketchy. And you know how people don't forget? Yes, you guys fought. You were over that fight. But people never forget. Like, kwanza watu wa ploti. Wow. Unaona wale kai wanapigananga huko. They never forget. You guys, you've forgotten, you've moved on, you're happy, the fight is over, but people still remember you guys fought. And unfortunately, their fights were as petty as sufurias. As in, I'm taking this sufuria, you want this one. Like, they would fight over who's taking which sufuria. It's like so childish, but like when you're in the fight, it feels so valid. Like so valid that you're fighting over a mwiko, a spoon. It feels hella valid. And I completely understand where they're coming from. Anyway, they said sometimes people in love might act, sometimes you might love something, but you can't afford it. If you can't afford it, you get into debt. It's feeling the pressure. And so, according to them, most of this whole situation was because of living way above their means, and one person is the only one taking up responsibility. And of course, even when he gets a promotion, because in this particular case he did get a promotion, even when you get that promotion and money is a little better now, you still are disgruntled about the fight that you had before when you didn't have the money. Like, this person doesn't appreciate me, they don't value me, blah blah blah, that kind of thing. And relationships are technically very difficult in those particular aspects, but you shouldn't be getting there. All I can say is, now they're living well, now they understand each other, now they talk a lot more about their relationship according to them, and so it's giving more marriage than anything else. Look, even if that comparison of, no, us kids have been married for 12 years and this is how we are, and then they've been married for 1 year, 2 days, and they act a lot better. The length of the marriage or the relationship does not determine the health of that relationship. Just so you know, you need to work on making sure your relationship is healthy, and that is the only way to live. Honestly, if you're really wanting to be in a relationship, you better be ready to make sure it's a healthy one. And if it's not, get out of that situation real quick.
At the end of the day, my advice is usingilie watu wa duve moja. Leave them alone. Did these people not separate the other day? Was she not living in the US, flourishing, thriving, and her man's, like, they're co-parenting? Let me tell you, sometimes it's usually external pressure. Like me and you, we have a good thing going on, but the expectations and the pressure of everyone around us is kind of getting to us. And that's the unfortunate part. But it usually gets to a lot of people. Like, you see your friends, your colleagues are living nice. You're like, hey, even me, I want to. And you forget you and your partner's situation is not the same. So now here you are giving your partner pressure, like, hey, babe, sisi lazima tuishi sasa Kitusuru. Sisi lazima sasa tuishi Kiambu Road. Ain't no way we're going to be living like this. And you're like, but if you do not understand where your partner is coming from, if you guys are not on the same page, you're going to have a fight about it.
For sure.
Somebody is going to feel so resentful about your expectations. And also, it's okay to communicate your expectations, but don't be so entitled to it. That's another thing. Don't forget that your partner's money is
not
also
yours.
It's not yours, it's
Baby.
also theirs. When they had that promotion, they were happy.
We weren't promoted. I was
because
promoted.
they had plans of like, now I'm getting more money, I can do this. And then here you are talking about we. I did not know we were French now. What do you mean we? I just tuishi sasa a different neighborhood. And I'm like, hey, calm down, relax, like, please. So yeah, relationships, it's a lot. And also, like, when you're cohabitating with somebody, you get irritated by the funniest things. Like, you look back at fights and you're like, why were we fighting about that? Like, why were we fighting about a smoky? But that's a valid fight. Like, if somebody eats the last smoky, like, do you even love
finishing
me?
the sausages.
Do you even love me if you're going to just eat the last smoky? Are you the person who's going to be with me my whole life, for better, for worse?
You know?
Ew.
We're fighting for pancakes.
Yo.
Guys.
Na nina jam. Ninakuwa hivyo.
Inakuwa fight by the way. How did you eat the last pancake, babe? Kata nusu.
Kata nusu.
Yeah, what I mean. Yeah.
Oh God, I forgot. Oh, nilisahau kuficha Skittles. Oh, anyway, our last story.